It's a dark night along the Russian coastline. Oleg is aiding a band of smugglers to steal a ton of caviar aboard a small boat. The sailor he's recruited objects, reminding him that his boat can only carry 600 kilos and remains firm even when Oleg offers more money. This doesn't deter Oleg. He pretends to call his wife, but actually speaks to the smuggler, instructing him to claim the cargo weighs 600 kilos to persuade the sailor. The ruse works, and Oleg loads his ton of caviar onto the boat, but they don't get far. The boat and its cargo gradually sink, forcing the men to swim to shore. When the sailor demands compensation for his damaged boat, Oleg hands over his new car, leaving him with the sailor's old, dilapidated vehicle and a debt of $1 million to the smugglers. The following day, Oleg visits his girlfriend Svetlana at the bank where she works to request a loan, but she cannot grant it as he hasn't repaid his previous one. Eager to help, Svetlana suggests they seek assistance from her family, who own a house. Oleg dislikes this idea, having an aversion to Svetlana's family, but he has no other options. They drive to her family home, where they all live together. Svetlana's father, Boris, who enjoys singing odd songs and hasn't left the house in 5 years due to being a wanted man. Her maternal grandfather, Pavel, who longs for death. Her sister, Rita, an accountant at the theater, who dreams of being a performer. Her brother, Tolik, who aspires to join the army but can't due to his asthma and enjoys training dogs. And her sister, Sasha, a young girl daydreaming about becoming a grown woman and harboring a crush on Oleg. Oleg attempts to discuss his financial woes with Boris, who is preoccupied with singing. When Boris finally listens, he panics, equating selling the house with selling his family into slavery. Oleg tries to explain that nobody will lose anything and that he only needs a guarantor's letter, but Boris refuses. Their argument is abruptly interrupted when a meteorite crashes through the roof, hitting Pavel. Initially, the family flees outside, fearing an attack, but they soon realize it's a meteorite shower and return to check on Pavel. After taking him to bed, Oleg and the siblings begin digging to retrieve the meteorite for sale, but one by one the siblings fall asleep, leaving Oleg to dig alone until morning. Emerging from the hole, he hears Pavel calling from bed, saying he's about to die. Oleg wants to call an ambulance, but Pavel refuses, wishing to die in peace. Before passing, he tells Oleg to convey a final message to the family. They can all go to hell. After confirming Pavel's pulse, Oleg rushes to tell Svetlana, but finds her deeply asleep. He falls asleep beside her, and later, Tolik wakes him to show him something. Oleg finds that the meteorite has transformed into a strange liquid, giving Sasha super strength and making Rita capable of flight. Svetlana appears with parts of her body invisible, and Pavel reappears alive. However, when Rita loses control of her ability and flies through the hole in the roof, she falls, and Pavel dies again as Svetlana becomes fully visible. After helping Rita back inside and securing her to prevent floating away, awakening Pavel, they realize the meteorite has given them special powers. Svetlana suggests informing the authorities, but as soon as she leaves the room, Pavel dies again, and Rita's powers vanish. Their abilities only function when they are together. A doctor finds nothing wrong with them, attributing the powers interruptions to their separation. Over dinner, they debate their powers' use. Rita wants to perform, while Pavel fears exploitation. As Tolik discovers he can now understand his dogs, Oleg proposes that the family appear on TV for payment, but Boris refuses. When they retire for the night, Oleg asks Svetlana about the bank's money, while she wonders if her children will be invisible. The following morning, Pavel attempts to hang himself, but it's futile. As long as he's near his family, he remains alive. Boris discovers his power of teleportation when he strains too hard in the bathroom and decides the family needs a little break to cope with this. They head to a lake for fishing, where Boris hones his newfound ability. Meanwhile, Oleg unveils his plan. They should work together to rob a bank. With Svetlana's invisibility, she only needs to walk in, grab the money, and walk out, while everyone waits in the car nearby to ensure she retains her power. Rita, Tolik, and Sasha agree, but Boris stubbornly rejects the idea, even if it means Oleg leaves and they lose their abilities. Frustrated, Oleg storms to the car, and Svetlana follows, instructing her family to put Pavel's body in the basement until they return. On the road, Oleg tries to convince Svetlana of the plan's merits, but they're abruptly forced to pull over by another car. It's the smugglers, demanding their money. Oleg pleads for a month, but they insist on a week, threatening to sell his organs on the Chinese black market if he fails. After the smugglers leave, Svetlana realizes that Oleg's debt is life-threatening, so she agrees to help him. The next day, the couple takes Boris to see a beautiful new house they could buy if they execute the plan. Boris is uninterested, but Svetlana finally asserts herself, expressing that the family is tired of the old, rickety house and needs a place with a functional toilet. Despite his stubbornness, Boris yields when Svetlana tearfully pleads, pointing out it's the first time she's asked for his help. After strategizing their heist, the family celebrates the new life ahead, though Sasha keeps interrupting Oleg and Svetlana during their private moments. The next morning, Sasha even dolls up to impress Oleg, To his surprise, the family members suddenly impose conditions for their cooperation. Pavel wants to be cremated post-robbery, Rita wants to fly before an audience, and Sasha demands a date with Oleg. Initially resistant, Oleg concedes after Boris insists that family support is a two-way street. After scheduling Rita's show at the theater, Oleg discovers his ability while in bed with Svetlana. He can pour water from his finger. Handy for watering plants, Svetlana notes. The following morning, Sasha tags along as they scout the bank, which is not the one Svetlana works at, to avoid suspicion. They discuss details, and Sasha wonders what would happen if Svetlana were caught and jailed, jokingly asking who would care for Oleg. Amused, Svetlana plays along, saying she could. Returning home, they find Tolik has shaved his head, having been accepted into the army, meaning he won't be available for the heist. While Boris is saddened at losing his son, Oleg focuses on the plan and gets his contacts to rectify the army's acceptance as a mistake. Though initially furious, Tolik trusts Oleg after he promises to help him post-robbery. They then arrange Pavel's cremation with a funeral home, where Pavel receives a paper to stick to his chest to guide the police in case he dies. Later, Oleg takes Sasha to a fancy restaurant for lunch, with the family watching from afar, and Svetlana invisibly monitoring. Sasha asks Oleg to take her away after the robbery, expressing her disdain for the family. Before Oleg can decline, they're interrupted by the smugglers dining nearby. Recognizing them as threats, Sasha fearlessly beats them up, but the family flees, causing her to lose her super strength. That night, the family listens to Tolik's dog sing the national anthem. The next day, the heist begins. Oleg parks across the street under the sun, avoiding a no parking zone in the alley Boris prefers. Since Svetlana's invisibility doesn't extend to clothes, she strips before entering the bank, invisible and naked, with Oleg. She follows employees to learn passwords and safe codes while Oleg photographs the floor map for escape routes. Meanwhile, Boris, tired of the sun, relocates the car to the alley, meant for the bank's armored truck. When a truck arrives, the guards demand the car be moved, but Boris refuses as it would reveal Svetlana. The guards use their truck to push the car away, making Svetlana visible in front of an employee and a client. The family calls Oleg, who rushes out to help drag Pavel's body closer to Svetlana, restoring her invisibility and making the witnesses believe they hallucinated. As they prepare to leave, the police stop them for a check. Mistaking the situation, Boris, a wanted man, accidentally teleports into the cop's truck and gets arrested. Hours later, Oleg secures Boris's release, losing another car as payment. Upon returning home, he reveals that Boris was never wanted. It was all in his imagination. Furious, Oleg scolds the family for their misbehavior and makes them promise no more arguments or misuse of their powers. The next day, they still have to take Rita to the theater as part of the deal. When it's her turn to perform, she sees a large crowd, including familiar faces, and gets stage fright. Rita flies out of the theater, unwilling to perform. When Oleg follows her, the smugglers find him, drag him to the stage, and beat him up, making him the new show of the day. After they finish, Oleg, angry and hurt, insults the family for their failures, calling them lazy and selfish. He tries to leave, but Boris decides to kidnap him. That night, the family returns to the bank, ready for the heist. Pavel distracts some drunk men nearby by drinking fuel and lighting his breath on fire, while the rest of the family covers their faces and prepares to strike. Sasha pushes a truck in front of the street to hide their actions, then pulls a chain Rita has placed on the window, creating a hole in the wall. Boris teleports inside, and Sasha throws Svetlana into the hole, before Rita flies her in with the others. Svetlana uses the codes she learned to disable the alarm, and Sasha picks up the safe and throws it out onto the street. As the family starts loading the money into the car, the police arrive, but Tolik distracts them by sending the dogs after them. Once they have all the money they can carry, they escape, picking up Pavel, who leaves a trail of fire as he runs away. By sunrise, they are far from the bank and stop to celebrate. Pavel reminds them of the last part of the deal and asks to be left behind to finally die. After saying their goodbyes, the family drives away, but returns when they see Pavel's body fall. Pavel insists they leave, reminding them it's his wish. Boris suggests they live together as a happy family. But Oleg points out they can't stay because the plan wasn't smooth, and the police will find them. Besides, he and Svetlana plan to go to Thailand, Tolik will head to Moscow, and Sasha and Rita want to go to Brazil. The girls want Boris to join them, but Pavel interrupts, saying he's called the police to find his soon-to-be dead body. So the family leaves for good. Seeing her grandfather die deeply upsets Svetlana, who refuses to take the money when Oleg starts dividing it, insisting they should return it. Oleg refuses, so Svetlana kicks him out of the car, saying she doesn't want to be with him anymore. Realizing the family hasn't changed, Oleg leaves and takes care of his business. He pays the smugglers what he owes, then hides the remaining money by taping it to his body under his clothes. At the airport, ready to leave the country, he sees on the news that the family has been arrested for trying to recover Pavel's body from the funeral home. Initially, he tries to ignore it, but once on the plane, Guilt overwhelms him, and he returns to help them. His first stop is the funeral home, where he tries to bribe the employee for Pavel's body. Seeing the desperation, the man demands 1 million and refuses lower offers. With no other choice, Oleg pays all his remaining money and takes Pavel to the court where the family is on trial. As soon as they enter, everyone regains their powers and chaos ensues. Boris teleports out of the cage and he and Pavel start fighting, while Sasha breaks the cage to free her siblings. Together, they knock out officers as the rest of the people flee. Reunited, Boris acknowledges that this crazy plan makes Oleg part of the family. Outside, armed cops wait, but Rita distracts them by flying above, pretending to be a religious apparition. This gives the family time to steal a car and drive away, but the police soon chase them. Boris teleports into a police car to divert it. Sasha uses her strength to push others, and when they drive through a vegetable stand, Oleg cleans the mirror with water from his finger. Sasha helps the car make a sharp turn, causing all police vehicles to crash except one. They finally lose it when Rita lifts the car, making it float away. Later, the family meets the smugglers and pays them to hide in a container, escaping to Thailand undetected. Now, they have 20 days ahead with only each other for company. Superfamily is a delightfully unconventional comedy that tells the story of a quirky family who gains strange superpowers after a meteorite crashes into their home. Set against the picturesque backdrop of the Black Sea, the film combines humor, heartfelt moments, and a touching message about the power of family unity. Pavel Derevyanko leads the cast with a standout performance, portraying a small-time businessman who learns to navigate chaos with charm and sincerity. Vladimir Tolokonnikov delivers a memorable turn as the grandfather, whose repeated deaths and resurrections offer both dark humor and unexpected emotional weight. The rest of the ensemble adds depth and personality, making the family dynamics engaging and relatable despite their absurd circumstances. While some character actions may defy logic, the film's self-aware tone and lighthearted nature keep these moments from detracting from the overall experience. The humor ranges from slapstick to heartfelt, with occasional moments of poignant reflection, especially in scenes dealing with loss and reconciliation. The scenic beauty of the Krasnodar territory and the Black Sea provides a visually striking setting, though it could have been utilized more extensively to enhance the atmosphere. Even so, the regional charm and authenticity of the locations add a unique flavor to the story. Superfamily is not without its flaws, but its originality, engaging cast, and mix of absurdity and emotional depth make it a refreshing addition to the comedy genre. It's a fun, feel-good film with a surprising amount of heart, perfect for viewers seeking something light yet meaningful. I found this movie quite entertaining, so I'd rate it 7 out of 10. Subscribe for more videos like this and turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out.